want to talk a bit about Independence Live. Kevin Gibney, who's running it, he's been running it for such a long time. We've got a couple of other people here to tell you what they think. And we've also got a wee chat with Kevin himself.
And the link to the Crowdfunder is on the screen and it's in the notes.
I wouldn't be sitting here doing what I'm doing. Probably I would never have got to know you, actually, even as well, if it hadn't been for Kevin. And I wouldn't have had the slightest indication that I might actually end up making podcasts, which has come out of a whole number of years getting to know Kevin. Him, saying, look, come on, why don't you come into, it was Indy Live Radio at the time, but, he got me to go in, he got me to think about doing different things. And Kevin's done that for such a lot of people in the Yes Movement, hasn't he?
Yeah, and everybody in the Yes Movement has heard of him as well, because they've either watched a live stream or they've listened to a podcast or they've met him or... Yeah, he's an absolute stalwart, and he's kept this going pretty much single-handedly at times through some very, very difficult times, and always manages to come up with a live stream. And if it wasn't for the live streams that Independence Live do, we just wouldn't know what was going on in the indie movement.
And it needs money to run it. They need to upgrade their equipment. People are going to be there live streaming, but they need to travel from where they live, which in one case at least is open. So it does need money, and that's what we want to say to you with this. There's a fundraiser started for 2025. Kevin's looking to raise £6,500. That's not a massive amount. Surely we could get that amount to him.
There's over 120 episodes of Scotonomics on the Independence Live YouTube channel. It also goes onto the Facebook page that Independence Live has, and it's also on their Twitter stream. So we get a lot of views through Independence Live. But going right back to when I wanted to start doing this, we didn't have a Scotonomics Facebook page or YouTube channel, and I wanted to get out to as many people as possible to explain that the economy was very different from the way that they saw it. And the only person I thought about going to was Kevin at Independence Live. And he was completely supportive right from the right from when we started it. And, showing me how to use the platforms, getting it out, promoting it. So I think without Independence Live, we certainly wouldn't be where we were. But I think the independence movement as a whole wouldn't be where it was without Independence Live. And I think it's a testament that he is still here doing this when so many other people have, for reasons that I can't criticise in any way, given up. And it's good to see a few of those people who are back, who gave up a couple of years ago. But Kevin's just been like this consistent connection to Scottish independence right from before 2014.
Yeah, and he's always open to new people coming with suggestions and programmes. And I think it's that open door has been just so valuable to all of us. No organisation has covered the live events like Independence Live has. I mean, they're just unparalleled when it comes to that. Just fantastic.
So much hard work. The majority of the jobs that they do are volunteer. They don't get paid. Even if they get their petrol covered, they consider that a win. So I think it is really important that people support Independence Live, because it helps support those people who are spending a lot of time to create the content that we all really, really want to see.
Yeah. One of the unseen heroes of Independence Live, the team that go out there live streaming events, turn up in all weathers, walk the entire length of the march, often interviewing people all the way. Sometimes they walk it backwards because they're recording. They do a brilliant job.
I'm Robert McInnes, all the way from Oban, and basically I've been with Independence Live for how long now? Oh, that I don't know. Been through Gary Hamilton and Stuart Abercrombie from Night on the Seal. I do photography as a hobby, and they asked me to be third cameraman, I think it was, for Independence Live. So that kind of works in quite well. And doing the march and rallies is a huge thing for me. I hadn't been involved in this before, and oh man, what an experience I've had.
Did I not meet you at Stirling?
No, I was in Glasgow at Freedom Square.
Oh, could it be? Well, we're never out of Freedom Square, so it could have been.
Because you had a big stall on, and I was running about with a high-vis jacket and a camera in my hand.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because there's so many people at these events. Do you live in Oban?
I live in Oban. I'm currently sitting in my office in North Connell.
If you were just meeting, a bunch of Indy supporters, and you've got in the back of your mind, Independence Live could do with a bit more financial support. And
yes,
so what would you say to them as to why that would be a good way to use their cash?
Well, it's worthwhile because you can buy new equipment with it. That's what we need. We need new cameras to try and do the best we can in live streaming. The other thing is, for the cameras, we could do with rain covers, like these rain covers, do you know what I mean? Because the cameras that are out there are getting absolutely soaked and you don't know what's going to happen. They're either going to completely shut down on you and then you're absolutely knackered after that.
When we're out and about, we're just using, Marlene's got a GoPro, I just use my phone. And as soon as it rains, that's it, gubbed. My phone just doesn't work in the rain.
No, that's my gimbal.
That would be a good thing. Does it really make a difference to the film quality?
It does, but as long as it's not raining. Because if it's raining, I'll tell you this, I was up in the Island of Skye doing all under one banner, and it was absolutely torrential rain. I had the gimbal out. I had to run back to Gary's car and put it in his car because I didn't want my phone getting soaked, and plus the gimbal that I just bought, I didn't want that getting soaked. If it did get soaked, I wouldn't be able to use it.
Yeah, totally. I was at that march as well. I was wild.
It was wind as well, But I tell you something, I enjoy what I do for Independence Live. And the Crowdfunder last year, it was amazing. That was the Freedom Square one that the Crowdfunder went up and he's interviewed Kevin and Gary.
People have been are so generous with Independence Live.
They have.
I mean, Kevin is very generous. I've known him for about 5 years now, and he's always been encouraging and generous. And I mean, our podcast channel, without his support, we would still have done it, but it would have been slower. And it would have been more difficult because, he gives you access to these things that he pays the subscription for. So, anything we can do to help out, I'm very happy to do that. Yeah. So it's a question of bringing it to people's attention, which is why we thought we'd do this.
It's great to be on, guys.
Actually, we should talk to the man himself, and we had a really good chat to him. So here's Kevin. But you're doing something that's a little bit different, is that right?
I can talk about Blue Sky and two main things I'm doing, right? One is for Independence Live, we've created a starter pack of communities that have their own starter packs of members. If you have a look at the starter pack that we've created, you'll see Veterans for Scottish Independence on it, right? They've got a starter pack of veterans. You'll see New Scots for Independence on it, right? Because they've got a starter pack of people who have moved to Scotland. And we've added one by Indy Clan. They've got a starter pack.
Yeah.
You've got a starter pack of communities with their own starter packs of members, right? So the National's also on there as well because it's got a starter pack of journalists. But in addition to that, I've been setting up accounts, academics for Scottish Independence, retired teachers for Independence, Scots abroad for Independence, nurses for Scottish Independence, and they all will have their community starter packs of members that are farmers or nurses or retired nurses, retired teachers. Yeah, I've also got other ideas to create more. Good. So they're all waiting in the wings. They will all be run by their members. I initiate it. I get people into the starter pack. I contact them. I said, would they like to get further involved with a view to putting out posts via the account? Because I've got the knowledge, I can create these up, I can see the value in them, but at the end of the day, I'll be taking a back seat and stepping away from it.
Yeah, and they just take on a life of their own.
So that basically, if there's a starter pack, you go into the starter pack and you get the option, you can either go down one by one and decide whether to follow that person, or usually at the very top, you can get an option just to follow everyone who's in that starter pack. For anyone who's listening who isn't on Blue Sky yet, it's basically you get in contact with people of like-minded folk, don't you?
Yeah, but there is a bigger picture to what I'm doing for these particular groups, right? Blue Sky doesn't have a group chat feature. So for each of the groups that I've set up, there's a WhatsApp group at the back end.
Well, that's
I'm getting them onto a WhatsApp group for each of them. So the bigger picture is these people will start chatting. They might have video chat via WhatsApp, right? And they'll evolve and develop further
That's
So
good. That's great.
they could go on to set up real world events. That's the big plan. That's what I'm hoping for. That's a real group, and it just won't be concentrated in B-Sky. It could be other things that they choose to do.
Yeah.
Right?
And presumably, when you're setting up that WhatsApp group, I mean, those people who are in that starter pack, they themselves choose to join the WhatsApp group.
They get asked
Yeah.
by the group account will contact them and say, would you like to get further involved? You start off with, would you like to be added to the group? Because it's really easy moving between accounts and B-Sky. You can add accounts. It's really easy to add accounts. And I've got a little simple text document for each of the groups, telling them how to add another account to their personal account, and they can flick between it.
Brilliant. It's just joining us all up, isn't it? That's the thing we've been struggling with.
I've been at this about 8 weeks. Feels like a lifetime. I love it. Yeah. Right. See, as soon as I saw Starter Pack, the penny just dropped. I went, this is the platform.
Yeah.
To connect people going forward. But once I get more onto each of the groups, I'll suggest why don't we all have a wee chat and introduce each other.
Fantastic. I mean, it just sounds brilliant. Bit of to have got that kind of had the idea thing, and then and then set about getting it going.
Yeah, that's where the exciting stuff is at the moment. Seeing what could come off the back of that, right? I want to try and ignite indie groups again, especially as we're, in terms of the polls for Scottish independence are looking really good. There's so many important groups that need a presence that's fallen away, and quite rightly after all this time. But Blue Sky gives us a chance to connect. It's great because I don't know where it will go, but it feels positive. It could be positive outcomes. The Blue Sky is a great platform to get connected, and it's a great way to form real groups.
There weren't very many groups on it, probably just because they haven't made the move over.
Oh, they maybe haven't had it explained to them the potential of it. They may be thinking, just another thing to add my name to. But actually, the way you're describing it, it's much more dynamic.
Absolutely. It could be a real communication tool. Right now, it's been quite interesting. I knew this would be a big learning curve. You may have your ideas, you may what's great in paper, but it could be like the people you add that said they would do stuff end up don't doing stuff, right? And each group could be different depending on the personalities involved in each group. The score, right? And it's still so early days. Yeah,
and completely new departure for Independence Live.
There's stuff we do that's obvious, isn't it? We live stream. Yeah. We do. That's the obvious stuff. But there's always been a case of anything else that's kicking about that you can get your teeth into. And I've had plenty of other ideas, and I've went, right? I've done tons of shit.
I remember some of them.
I do remember some of them.
It's like I get an idea, and I'm like, I've got to go try that.
Yeah. Right? And you get banned from YouTube for a fortnight or something.
Banned from YouTube. That was one thing.
Oh God, that's right. When you got banned.
There's been others. Other ideas. I like to think this is different with B-Sky. Right?
Making the leap between a group of people who are on a feed to a group of people who agree they'll go and be part of a completely separate, because it's a different platform, WhatsApp group. I think that's the new thing. I think that's really, really good. And to be honest, I'm sitting here thinking, and Blue Sky's a decent platform. WhatsApp works fine. It's reasonably secure. It'll work. The platforms are there. We know they work. It just needs people to get engaged. I think that's brilliant.
Well done. Well done, you.
Yeah.
So how much money would you like to fundraise and raise this year then?
Well, I tried for 8,524 and we get 58%, just under $5,000. I've put down 6,500.
The crowdfunder, I presume, is where it always is on Independence Live's website.
Yeah, it's there at the moment, updated. Great chatting to you both. I love you both. These are brilliant.
Cheerio then. Cheers.
Bye now.